What's up, friends? So glad to be back with you. Heslop Tech Talk my with my brothers. We're back. It's been long since the Heslop 3. Oh no! It's
It's a twap. It's really a music video.
It's just echoing over and over again. It's a twab. Yeah, we're happy to be back here. Tech talking it up with my brothers. We had a Texas edition the other week, but we are it's the first time been able to be back with the three of us in just a little bit. How you doing, brothers?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Doing well.
Living life. Yeah. Jeremy, did you get any snow in your area?
Not this past week. No.
Okay, because yesterday we got a wintry mix, which was really just rain and a little bit of snow sprinkled in. Josh, I'm sure you got tons of snow, right?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, like we got the low pressure system coming in, and it's like I'm freezing. I'm freezing down here.
Did it go to like 65 degrees instead of 70?
Oh yeah, it's in the 60s, man. I had to put on my fleece this morning going to the gym, bros.
Nice.
Hard knock life.
Yeah, well, it's been fun. We're happy to get back into it. Hopefully, we can get a more regular schedule now on either Thursday or Friday. You know, one of the 2 days. I think Jeremy has a recurring on Thursday, so we're going to try to stick with that as much as possible. But Jeremy, what kind of articles do you have starting with what's happening with Alexa? That's going kind of a little creepy.
Yeah. So, and if you've had this happen to you, people have found it very unnerving. But apparently, you'll just be talking, and your Alexa Echo or Dot or whatever's in your house, and Alexa will just laugh at you. She'll just be like, you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Did I say something funny? So apparently today, and let me share it real quick. I'll show you Jeff Bezos' beautiful mug face. Apparently, they are now apparently fixing said issue. So they said that you would the Echo would mistakenly hear Alexa laugh, because they mistakenly hear all kinds of stuff. And then, so they're going to be changing that to Alexa, can you laugh? So it's less likely to have false positives, and they're going to disable the short Alexa laugh, so that, and then the response will be, sure, I can laugh, and then she'll laugh. So instead of just like randomly laughing if you say Alexa laugh, because I guess other things could sound just like that, like that's a lot of laughs, or so she's in another room, she might think, oh, somebody just said Alexa laugh, or some combination that triggers her. Because I don't know about you, but I'll just be sitting in the room and the light will come on and nobody said anything.
Yeah, I saw it do that while I was over at your place. It was like,
yeah, and I mean, sometimes as people are talking, I understand it'll, it'll come on and be like, "Oh, were you talking to me?" So some people are getting a little creeped out by the fact that their Amazon devices were randomly laughing at them for otherwise not very funny things. So I thought it was interesting. Want to let everybody know that indeed your Echo devices will be getting a downgrade to not laugh as easily.
Good. And you can also just yell out, Alexa, where's my blanket song, just over and over again, so the kids can dance.
Yes, this is what kids do.
So Josh, well, first of all, Josh, you want to tell them about a little giveaway that you're doing over on your channel?
Yeah, y'all. I'm doing a Gleam giveaway for this Surface sleeve. It is from the Hex company. It's got a nice like fabric weave to it, all black, and it has a nice cushy inside, and the pockets for the side will will fit your. It has a little slot to put your Surface Pen in there, as well as it will also hold your charger if you need to take that along with you. So it's basically like new. I always put it inside a second messenger bag whenever I was using it with my Surface Pro 4. So yeah, I thought I'd give it away to somebody who has a Surface and needs a container to throw it in. You could also probably use it for a 10-inch tablet. Would be nice for it too. So yeah, check it out on
a
my
Chromebook
YouTube
or something like that.
Yeah, you can go to my YouTube at Joshua14, and it's the latest video. I have a little video about it, and the link is in that description. Plus, we'll throw it in the chat here for y'all.
And it's also in the description. Right?
There we go.
It's there in both. We're ahead of the game today.
Snap. Snap, snap, snap.
Yeah, so what else is happening in the Surface world, Joshua?
Okay, so we actually, well, not we, Microsoft just basically said, hey, we are going to be releasing the Surface Pro LTE. So let me throw the screen share up here.
Sure.
And show you guys this. So basically, unfortunately, they're only doing it with one SKU. So can y'all see that? Is it not working?
It is showing me your face frozen. Right?
Frozen. All right, let me go back.
Just let it go. Let it go.
I know. It's unbelievable.
Okay. Old joke.
Share. Your screen sharing, it says it's still not showing me the thingamajigger.
Your screens are too big.
I know, it's just too huge.
Check on the third screen.
It's too huge. Well,
pops up on the third screen.
I know, right? Well, here's what I think I can do is
send the link to me.
I have the power of two gigantic monitors. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it over there in the big monitor, and then I'm going to share that screen, y'all, the whole thing. Okay?
Oh, it's going to explode.
Oh, no. There it is. Oh. It's like giving me a little crap, but okay. I know it's kind of like ultra wide, but either way, sorry.
Hold on, let me read it.
I know, right? All right, so I'll be brief. Okay, I'm just gonna go down to the. It does have a little extra slot for your SIM card there. And it's using a Qualcomm X16 modem, which is 20 bands of LTE. It only has the Core i5 7300U, which is the older 7th gen Skylake. 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage for $1449. So $1450 basically, under $1,500. So obviously, if you were to get the, it's like $150 extra than the regular Surface i5, but this is, I think, Dan Seifert from The Verge, and he's like, I can't live without it now. But in one day, he went through like 4 gigs of data. So,
wow.
So you're probably going to need a like a pretty beefy plan.
Data plan.
Unlimited is pretty wild.
Windows 10 alert, we are sharing your Windows updates with the person next to you.
No!
Or do you want to continue to share?
Hey, do you want to send some diagnostics to Microsoft for free?
Exactly.
I just got an email from Sprint. It's always been that you spend an extra $20 a month to get a mobile hotspot plan. And they just sent me an email saying, hey, you now can get 10 gigs free on your line. I was like, Sprint? What
I'll
up?
take it. Free for me.
I'll take the planes. Because I'll be like going somewhere and I'll have my Chromebook and the Wi-Fi will cut out or something like that. And I'll be like, well, I can't really do much with the Chromebook, so that would be super nice.
Yeah.
But speaking of what was I going to say? Oh, different article. Never mind. That segue doesn't work.
We'll just go to that one.
No, it's okay. So something that I got a little bit of a rant here, guys, because a new trend in cell phones and smartphones is just it's bothering me a little bit. So the iPhone 10 went with a notch. You see it on Jeremy's phone, a notch. See, the way they get away with this, in my opinion, is they have the display drivers that curl under the screen, so there's no bottom chin. So yes, you get a little notch. It takes off a little bit of the top, but then there's no chin at the bottom. But what is happening now is there's now what people call the Clone Wars. It's Notchgate 2018. Look at this. So this company is excited about having a 26% smaller than the Fruit phone, smaller notch.
That's funny.
I'm like,
Wow.
you dummies. I don't even know what phone this is.
It's the Zenfone
like a
5,
Samsung.
bro. It's
Really?
It's the Asus Zenfone 5.
Okay. And so look at this. Look at this. Love the notch. Check out these 5 weird and wonderful iPhone 10 clones. Like, they're digital trend. They're encouraging this right now. You can tell them I'm
Real life.
Here's the Zenfone 5, where
That's
they're
the one.
in front of the Fruit phone. It looks like the same background. But yeah, so so it still has a chin, and there's still bezels on the sides. And then here's the Liagu, whatever that, see every Asian market company's like, we can try that. No, an N10. Vinci 6205. This uses the same background.
Exactly. That's hilarious.
And then Ulefone. I don't even know how to pronounce half these. And that's not even like all of them. Xiaomi's making one. Huawei. Did you see the Huawei P20 Plus has a notch?
LG.
And then LG's the G7. Look at that. It has the notch and the chin. So this is what's going to happen. People are going to come into the Sprint store or Verizon store. They'll be like, yeah, so I want a phone with the notch. And they're like, oh, that's only the iPhone. And they're like, oh, but I wanted Android. And they're like, oh, sweet. Well, we have the LG G7. It's just like the notch, but for Android. They're like, OMG, that's great.
And it doesn't have that silly Face ID where you have to stick it right here. You can just use the fingerprint reader on the back.
On the back. So I don't know. I understand it's a trend, it's a thing, but I like what the S9 did and just said, hey, we have minimal bezels on the top and the bottom. We added, a bigger speaker at the top, so it's actually stereo speakers. They understand that people, want more screen real estate. I think the iPhone 10 and the Essential phone did it best. Essential phone, in my opinion, is even a little better. Has a little bit of bottom bezel, but the top one's just the camera. And then the iPhone obviously doesn't have the bottom chin because of those display drivers. I don't know if that's like an Apple proprietary thing, like if they were able to, get some special hardware to do that, but I'm not been able to see that. What is he saying?
I have a really big chin.
A really big chin. Yeah, Paul Tech says, who the heck copies a notch? Dude, you'd be surprised. So
Hey.
I was listening to this podcast, and it was a Google software engineer, and he was like, and someone was asking him about Apple and what they do with their trends and stuff like that. And he said something that's very true. He said, Apple is as much of a fashion company as they are a tech company. Because what he means is they set so many trends, like whether it be with their bezels, whether it be with the look of their laptops or their hardware. They're as much of trendsetters as they are a technology and hardware company. They're dongles, right? Everyone's like, let's do less ports because Apple did it. They're going for it. And Apple makes, mostly great decisions on some of those things, but I'm not a huge fan of the dongle life. And look, they didn't put the headphone jack on the certain phones, and they're like, well, I guess we all got to do that. I bet LG removed the headphone jack next and charge extra for a fast charger. Oh my goodness, that would be terrible. I hope, because LG has stayed true with their DACs and making things of high quality, I'm hoping that they stay as long as possible. But I was also hoping that they wouldn't get a notch, and then the G7's like, hey, because
Hey,
they're
man.
like, oh, we're not going to call. There's leaks that it wasn't going to be called the LG G7. They're going to rebrand and make it a new phone, and instead they're like, here, let's get a LG G30, throw a notch on it, and say we're good to go. Nice, cool. And all the phones now are doing a vertical layout of lenses instead of horizontal. I don't know if that actually helps when you're taking landscape. I don't know, but it seems like all the companies are changing to that now. So it's interesting. Did you see the I need to show you guys this picture. There's a sweet Evleaks posted a sweet picture of a new color from the P20 Plus. Oh, it reminds me of the 90s, and I love it. Look at that.
Wow.
Nice.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
beautiful. And here, I'll scroll down.
Hypercolor jacket.
Here it is. Here's the notch in its glory on the P20 Plus. So
Wow.
this is the P20, and then you can see a third camera on the P20 Plus down there. I don't know what that does, but it was leaked that it was going to have a third camera, and it didn't on the P20.
Hey, theirs is 50% less than the Fruit phone.
They have a small notch, but it's a bigger chin. Look, you can fit a whole logo down there. That's a pretty cool. It has a button though, I guess, on the regular one. I don't know if it. Yeah, I guess it does. Right? There's a button on there. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been. Oh, so the P20. Oh, the middle one's the P20 Lite that has the bigger bezel without the button. Okay, so there's a P20 Lite, and then P20 Plus, or P20 Pro is what it's called. Bro. Sorry, guys. I goofed
because the notch looks different on the P20 Lite.
Yeah, it has maybe it could just be the lighting of the render, because
maybe
you see the like. It looks like there's almost a flash. See
yeah,
it's like there's almost a flash or something.
Yep.
But yeah, there's they're going crazy with these notches. But I just thought this color is baller. I don't know what it is. And maybe it's actually the purple color and it just angled to look like that. Maybe it's one of these. I don't think it's one of these colors, but it looked crazy. I'm like, hey, man, if that didn't have the notch, the P line, the P10 was crazy good cameras. Like, it was a great camera phone, especially for still photography. It had some of like the best images for manual modes. So we'll see what the P20 Pro will deliver on that. But yeah, I just thank you guys. I needed to get the notch rant off my chest. I thought the iPhone 10 did it as good as it can be done right now. And the Essential phone, it did, but it's just a trend, and I hope it dies.
The P20, apparently that third camera is supposed to have something to do with AI. So, yeah, they said in the
pushing that
press conference on March 27th in Paris with the tagline "See more with AI." So,
okay, so on their View 10, they had special AI software that's supposed to help figure out like contrast and certain things. They're really pushing this AI,
but they also were doing a gimmick where the AI was helping it identify whether it was a dog or whether it was and change the mode based on that. So hopefully you can turn all that crap off. And not because they're like, sometimes it took a slower picture because it had to identify whether it was a flower or not. So
yeah, that's so true. Yeah, it can be great. It can hurt it. Hey, guy, welcome in. But yeah, it's I saw a tweet that was like something like 2018. Let's get front-facing speakers and this and this and this, and then it's like 2018. Just kidding, add a notch. Like.
Well, obviously, it's a lot cheaper to just slap a notch on with the display where the camera's supposed to be instead of
changing that. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. But moving right along, so much. Speaking of craziness, and we talked about security issues earlier with the Microsoft updates, with your Surface Pro. But Josh or Jeremy, what's happening with crypto mining malware? That doesn't sound good.
So this isn't anything new. I mean, there's been hijacked sites that essentially, when you go to them, you run a piece of cryptocurrency mining code called CoinHive, and I even think it's open source. But you can, if you run it on your own site, if somebody visits your site, they are now mining on your pool for you. So you could theoretically have, your site, your people on your site helping you to mine. But usually, it's only when you're on that site. So what the malware does is they've now found it almost 50,000 sites just by doing a public www search. And so that is up to from 30,000 about in November. So only in a couple months, we've gotten 10,000 more infected sites. But they will run, this will run in the background in a different process. So Chrome or IE or Firefox will open up a background process that just sits there and runs, and your CPU goes 100%. So if your CPU starts running or your laptop starts getting hot or something, close down all your browsers and make sure that there's no like auto start restore stuff coming up, because it will run and it'll kill your batteries, and it could potentially even use your GPUs, I think, with the right code. So OpenGL stuff or Open.
Did you see, it was about 3 months ago or so, when the UFC video app, you paid to watch UFC fights, and they had it built in that they were mining off your computer while you were watching UFC. Did you see that?
Okay. No, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, so they literally had it built into their UFC app or the website that they were using your computer to mine it. And it was like in the written agreement, but people didn't realize it or something like that. Like, can be used your computer for blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, what? Huh, what? And then a bunch of people are like, wait a minute, why is my computer going so fast? And why is it turning like, and all this stuff? And then they realized that they had been using people's computer to mine cryptocurrency. Wow. It's probably just one of their like web designers that was like, I'll get a little extra money. Probably not, but it was crazy.
Well, I mean, what are the criminal implications of that? I mean, it's technically,
I think it was in agreement, I think.
So maybe
if you agree to go a website and run the software that they have on there, then they can do whatever they want. But this malware stuff is definitely bad. So, I mean, luckily it's only like 7,300 of those compromised sites are WordPress, but keep your websites up to date, people. WordPress and everything else, keep them up to date. Have them auto update, or have your web designer, or go host on WordPress.com or something where it's being managed for you. So
yeah.
Now there is one CoinHive use that I've seen that makes sense to me, and I saw it on a drip site or a faucet site for crypto. So you can go to a faucet site, put in your wallet address, and they'll send you some one coin of something, like a turtle coin or something. Some of these faucets that you have out there. But to get it, they'll have a CoinHive CAPTCHA, and so essentially it sits there and goes across the screen, and instead of clicking like your reCAPTCHA or a Google Am I a Robot button, it'll sit there and mine for a certain amount of hashes, like it'll do 100 hashes, and you can set that CAPTCHA up to say however you want it to be. So if you're a website owner and you want to legitimately mine on people's sites, and they have to comment on your website, put a little CoinHive CAPTCHA on there, and you can get a couple of hashes per second. And if you have a really fast computer, it just goes zoop. But if you're like on a laptop, like I was, when I clicked on it, it was like sitting there barely moving across the screen. I'm like, come on, hashes, you can do it. But so there are some legitimate uses for the code. It's just most of the time they're not. So,
yeah. So here's what it was: a Monero mining code. So this fight pass that you pay to watch fights was embedded, and some person found it in the code and was like, wait a minute, this doesn't look right, because the Pirate Bay apparently had done that. They provided they had a CoinHive one built into their torrent index. So they were helping mine while you were torrenting at the same time. So they're both pretty similar. You're using something for a service, and then someone else is using you for another service. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think as long as kind of like the cookie stuff they do now, like, hey, we're keeping a cookie, we're tracking you. As long as they do something like that, you click OK, and you know what you're getting into, then I don't see a bigger problem with it. But sites that just kind of put it in there, hoping that people won't notice, that's kind of I'm kind of on the fence on that one.
I need to read up on whether or not the UFC one had it in there. There was like different writing of how it could have been construed that way, I think, but. Yeah, I don't think they really made it clear at all. But it's pretty crazy. But speaking of security things, what happened with Oculus Rift?
Gosh. Oh man, so I'm one of the smart ones that has a HTC Vive, because if you have a Oculus Rift, they're still trying to figure this thing out, unfortunately. So okay, let me share the whole. Let me share my ultra wide window again. It's got to be something ultra wide related that's just not making it work. So
it's like streaming, live streaming.
It's so wide, bros. Okay, is that working?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so there was a security certificate that came out, and it gave you this error that said can't reach Oculus runtime service.
Sounds great.
So basically, it's an expired certificate in the runtime service that needs to be updated. And so it basically just bricks everyone's Oculus. If you have an Oculus, you're screwed. So
wow.
Unfortunately, Oculus also tweeted it's aware of the problem and will have a fix rolled out as soon as possible. So, but in other news, obviously, the only way you could solve it is switching your computer's date back to a time before March 7th, because that's when it just started yesterday. So, the old, hey, I'll fix the shareware trial by rolling back my date so I could still use it. But yeah, so it's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's nuts. You get bricked by that. And that's happened with a couple phones in the past few years, but not recently. That was maybe a year or so ago. That hasn't happened recently that I can think of. So a big company like Oculus bricking their unit. I mean, they're already struggling to get people to buy units over the Vive or over like something like a mixed reality that's cheaper.
Yeah. Or even just the Gear VR. They're, right. I haven't heard it doing that with the Gear VR because that's all in your phone, self-contained. But
because Gear VR that's backed by Oculus, is that right?
Yes. So they basically said, hey, we want to partner with Samsung to do that kind of stuff. So
I think they're trying to get as many partnerships as they can to get some revenue in, But
yep. Well, I'm sure they got a crackpot team working on it. It's just a matter of
they got that Facebook money, so
yeah. Definitely.
It's probably their update server needs that certificate to work, but because to get the new update to fix the certificate, you can't do it because the update code has to get to their, it's like
it's expired and it can't,
It's bad.
Well, hey, maybe if they were running the Revive software or some hacked, ROM or something like that, maybe they'd step around that. I don't know. I haven't done too much research on it, but I just heard. I follow Oculus and the Vive on Reddit, and so obviously a bunch of people on the Vive subreddit were like,
"Holy crap!
We've won! We've won!" So
we took them down.
I know. Wow. It's crazy.
That's funny.
Well, speaking of winning, this past week there was a big announcement. Each time there's a new phone that comes out, one of the biggest things that is announced is the camera. Is it going to, have 0.1 aperture? Is it gonna have 9 lenses? Is it gonna actually make you levitate? Who knows? But this year, after the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus were announced, the S9 Plus was crowned as the highest scoring phone by the DxO Mark mobile thing. And if you don't know what DxO Mark is, they are a basically a reference review site that checks out cameras. And for the past few years, they've also checked out mobile phone cameras. So they primarily do, like Canon, Nikon, major cameras, but now they have been doing mobile for the past few years. And so they put the iPhone 10 at a 97. They put the Pixel 2 XL and the Pixel 2 at a 98, best ever. And then now the new champion is supposedly the S9 Plus. And so this isn't out of 100. This isn't. This is just their scoring off of a points-based system. So it's not 0 to 100, and this is a 99%. This is a special scoring system. So it's saying premium specs, top-end performance. So I can leave this link in the chat right now, and then I'll also put it in the description because I want you guys to look and see what you think because there's comparisons. So we know the stats that it's a 1.5 aperture lens that's variable to 2.4. And they have things with bright light and regular light. What I like to look at are these comparison shots. So here's the S9 iPhone and the Pixel, and the S9 looks yellow to me in this. Like it doesn't look quite right color accuracy. Where I think the Pixel 2 actually looks best in my opinion on this. So I would go look at these, see how you feel. Here's bokeh modes. You can see the Pixel 2 is struggling a bit on the left side, blowing out some of the grass a little too much. The iPhone 10 is pretty soft, and the S9 does a pretty good job, but the lighting on her forehead's a little off. So I would go look at these. They do like exposure and contrast. I really like this because I looked at here for like my camera, the G7, Panasonic G7 before I bought it. You can look at exposure and contrast. They have the same tests that they do for every phone, the same shots. They have color reproduction. So you can kind of see that.
They get that same lady at the same field with the same coat on.
Not so much that, but they have pretty much all the same pictures. Very similar pictures for everything. The processing for the Samsung phones are always going to be hard. They're going to be very vibrant. They're going to be very bright. Same thing with the iPhone. They have a lot of color vibrancy, whereas the Pixel is going to be a little bit more true tone. So you can kind of see what you want and what you would like out of the phone. Now, I personally might like the Pixel because it's a little more true to life, and then you can adjust it afterwards if you need to.
Look at the noise, though. The noise is impressive.
On which phone?
On the S9.
Yeah.
At 1,000 lux, you go down to this lady with she's hair over her shoulder, and the noise in her hair is horrible on the Pixel 2. A little bit bad in her on the iPhone X, but at 5 lux, in low light, the noise is horrible on the iPhone 10.
Yeah,
and then the Pixel 2. So
there it is.
I mean, they said at 79 points, the S9 Plus achieves the best score for noise of all devices we have tested so far. That's probably what bumped him up.
So I saw that Casey Neistat showed some pictures. He was in an airplane, and I guess he had airplane Wi-Fi because he kept taking 2 and 3 images. He would take a picture and be like, this one or this one, and he had like a real simple. He would circle it with his finger in like blue. He was like A, circle the other one in his finger B, and then blind testing. And a lot of people pretty often picked the Pixel 2, but in a lot of the low light pictures, the Pixel 2 had more noise. And the same thing with the iPhone, had more noise. So because it has that 1.5 sensor, it's going to do that. But when you're taking that for normal shots, it's going to blow out and make the images softer. It's going to, the color, I mean, the light will be a little messed up. So
counterpoint that you can just use the 2.4.
You sure can in the light. So there's different stuff.
Problem solved.
So I mean, there's all kinds of different stuff. The bokeh modes, there you go. The iPhone really struggled with the exposure there, so her face was pretty dark. I personally like the Pixel on that one, but the S9 Plus looks really good. I mean, it's just a little softer. The Pixel 2 is pretty aggressive on that. iPhone 10 just looks like a little blurred, but yeah. So the video is where it hit lower. You can get 4K at 60 frames, but only for 5 minutes. And they did say like there's some noise and some artifacts, and the textures weren't great, so they got a little lower score on the video. It was a little bouncier, so that's one thing. It's better, much better on. It got 104 on photo and 91 on video. So the noise and the textures were the things that were rough. Yeah. So here's the pros of video: is bright and vivid colors, good noise reduction, all conditions. But the cons were occasional visible stepping during exposures, so kind of jump in color or jump in exposure, loss of fine details in most conditions, kind of washed things out. Visible residual global motion, that's not good, and quite strong ringing in M-O-I-R-E.
Moire. Yeah, so it's like the lines, like the during the like a extreme bright kind of a thing.
So you guys, I mean, when you look at it, here's the thing: you got to see what you like. You might really like those vibrant, more yellow, warmer colors that S9 has, and gosh golly, does it do great in low light? I mean, the 1.5, it looks good. So you're going to get less noise in low light. But if you're just running out and shooting, you can see what you want. The iPhone 10 and the Pixel 2 are great cameras, will do great things. Same thing with the LG V30 and the S8. The S8's still a great camera. And you probably can get it cheap. Same thing with the Note 8. You're probably going to be able to get that a little cheaper now when it goes down. Josh, you were saying that earlier.
Yeah.
We'll see when those go down. The thing you're going to miss out on the S9 is now they have stereo speakers, which apparently aren't that great. They're okay. They're not quite as good as the iPhone 10 was what a lot of people are saying, but I haven't been able to compare them side by side yet. But they are the loudest that have ever been on a Galaxy device. Well, of course, because now there's and it's not just one down firing speaker. But yeah, so you guys have any other thoughts on this? It's great. I would, all of you, if you'd like to, if you're a camera nerd like we are, check out that link and look for yourself. It's a perspective thing. Like it's a little bit, up for debate when it comes to that. But it takes great pictures.
Hey, I mean, the thing about it is that I have an S7 Edge. It's a great camera. Yep. They're just improving upon the last. They're iterating. They're making things a little bit better. So if your bar is, hey, I just need to take some decent pictures of my kids or whatever, you're going to be happy with it, obviously. But if you're a real photo nerd, then you're going to want to get into all these kind of minute details and say, okay, well, how's the, where's the f-stop at, blah, 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 all that stuff.
The pro mode, I'm thankful that Samsung has finally made good pro modes. Like because in the normal auto mode, you can't change from 1.5 to 2.4. It just, but in the pro mode, you can change. So like, if you're like, I would like 2.4, this is still pretty bright. You can change it. Whereas in auto, it's just going to do what it wants.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at least, they've said that obviously that it's going to, I guess it's the ISO. If it senses the auto ISO goes below 100, it's 100 or below, then it's going to use the 1.5. So, which, hey, you're at a concert at, that's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Jeremy, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Pixel's rating, they had a higher photo rating or a higher video rating.
Yeah.
No, higher video rating. So it's pick whatever looks best to you.
Yeah.
The stereo speakers on the Pixel look great. The photo looks great. You just don't have a notch. So if you really want the notch, go with the iPhone 10 or the S9.
Yeah. S9 doesn't have
S9 doesn't have a notch. Neither does S9 Plus.
It just has a chin. Okay, gotcha.
Small, very small chins.
Yeah, it has two forehead and chin that are just
symmetrical. So
I personally like that better.
It's a balance. And
I'm okay with the bezels on the Pixel XL. The Pixel 2, they're pretty big bezels. It's still like,
Yeah.
this 2014, 2015. They're still pretty big. But the aspect ratio, I understand why they had to do that, but still not my favorite. But the Pixel XL, Pixel 2 XL does a good job of space, in my opinion. But lastly, Josh, what's happening with a new mode in Windows 10? They just do these little iterations back, up and down.
Well, it's basically the same thing. Remember Windows 10s? With the Surface laptop, Windows 10s was basically like a sandboxed version of Windows where it was super secure. They were marketing this towards education. So you couldn't get all these viruses and all this kind of stuff. But they locked it down to where you couldn't actually download x86 apps. So you just download apps from the Windows Store, which there's not. I mean, there's a lot, but there's a lot of garbage in there.
That was like,
so,
flagship that with the Surface laptop, right?
Yes, that's exactly what they were saying. Hey, you can get I think the Surface laptop came with Windows 10s pre-installed, but you could upgrade to the Windows 10 Pro for free up to a year or something like that. Yeah. So here's the article on The Verge. And let's see if, hey, fix the aspect ratio. What? Nailed it. So Microsoft admits Windows 10s is confusing, and the new S mode upgrades will be free, y'all. So what they're going to do is they're going to move Windows 10s from a dedicated operating system to a special S mode for versions of Windows 10. So, yeah, they heard the feedback, the overwhelming feedback of what the heck is this? I want my real Windows 10. Naming was a bit confusing for both customers and partners, admits Belfiore.
Yeah.
So basically, they're creating the S mode, which is basically just like, hey, you're going into safe mode, but instead you're going into this sandbox mode. Windows Store lockdown to a mode will alleviate some of the confusion around Windows 10s, but they said that maybe they'll make the unlock process a little bit even more obvious. But so unfortunately, they had some rumors that they were saying that if you had the Windows 10s, that you would be forced to pay $50 to get access to Windows 10. But Belfiore came out and said, no, if a customer wants to switch out of S mode, all they have to do is just upgrade and it's no charge. So that's good to hear that if you bought a Surface laptop and you didn't upgrade to Windows 10 Pro, that they're going to let you switch, because obviously you're buying a Windows device. So I don't think that honestly don't think that there was too many other devices out there other than the ones that were slated for education and sold like by volume discount to schools and colleges and stuff like that. But I think that basically it's going to be a good thing for people who want to say you got a school laptop, and what is this Windows 10s? I want to download Steam on it or whatever.
Yep.
So
I think they were kind of trying to bridge the gap between like a MacBook laptop and the Chromebook. They were trying to find like a balance in between that directly competed with the MacBook. And
I think it was more the Chromebook, because the Chrome OS is so simple.
Yeah,
and it's just, hey,
still be stylish and fashionable and good. That's what I'm saying. Like they were still trying to get the college student, the high school student, and get that fashionable look with
Alcantara fabric.
Yeah, make it look nice and exciting, and then but simple, that they can just be like derp derp derp, write a paper, or like a mom or dad that just wants the internet and for their kids, just to work on stuff. So I see what they're trying to do, and hopefully they can figure out a good price point and on laptops if they want to just do this mode. But I like now that you can enable it, and like it seems smarter that way. But we'll see in the long run what it'll do.
I think it's just still going to come with the Surface laptop and any laptop that's like slated for education. So
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see a lot of them out there in the wild unless you go to specifically a Microsoft store and, hey, there's the Surface laptop. Hey, it still runs Windows with S mode automatically installed. So, yeah, unless you buy a Surface laptop, you should be good. Or if you go to your school and you're like, I can't install League of Legends. This is ridiculous. No, wait, there is Minecraft on the Windows 10 store, so you're still
yeah. Woo! The League of whew. Dodged the bullet on that one.
Oh man. So
awesome. Well, do you guys have anything else you would like to cover before we bid thee adieu for the evening?
There's only 6 more days to get this sweet sleeve, y'all. Check out the link in the description.
We're going to say that for sure. Links in the description to win that.
And hey, we got a Discord channel. Me and Joel have joined forces, but it's really Joel created a Discord and I said, hey, add me onto that thing.
Yeah.
And, so the link is in the description, correct?
Yep. It's
for our Discord.
Right under the Windows Surface sleeve is the Discord. There's a nice channel for, Joel's gaming stuff, and then there's a nice channel for Josh's gaming and Surface questions. So if you have any questions about tech, there's a tech channel, there's a Surface channel. You guys are open to jump in there if you have questions, or hey Joel, what do you think about this new phone? Or hey Josh, what do you think about this new Intel processor or something? We'd love to talk with you. And Jeremy's in and out of there. You can tag him too for other things, but it's fun. I really enjoy it. And then there's voice channels for games. I've been streaming a lot under twitch.tv/Kung Fu Penguin. And there's links for Josh's and my Twitch channels below. We're going to try to get some brothers gaming channel, some bro streams maybe in the future here. But it's been fun. So if you are liking to watch games, feel free to check that out. Jeremy, any other thing you think of that you want to add? Jeremy, you hear me? Hello? Did he freeze? I think he might.
Hey, his face isn't moving. He's
Jeremy says that he wants you to go look at OmniTech Pro and check out all his cool links there and all the fun things that he's writing for those. But yeah, social media like our Twitters, all that good stuff are all down below. Feel free to check that out. Yeah, your business technology needs is what Jeremy can help you with the OmniTech Pro. All the links for his stuff is down below. YouTube.com/OmniTech Pro as well. He's got some videos on there. But I hope you guys are doing oh so well. We're having some fun, and I will check you guys. Oh, Jeremy, there you are.
He's back.
He's back. Did you have any last minute things you'd like to say, Jeremy?
Have fun and make it real, but don't have real fun.
Oh, dropping knowledge. All right, friends. Thank you guys so much.
See the light.
And we will
R2D2 butt light
in the next Tech Talk.